Good morning, everyone. Today, we are honored to have Dr. J.S. Ananthakrishnan as our distinguished resource person for the one-day national level research workshop on developing a comprehensive AI ecosystem for humanities research. Dr. Ananthakrishnan is an emerging scholar, writer, translator, and educator who recently earned his PhD in English language and literature from Sri Shankaracharya University of Sanskrit, Kaladi. Recognized nationally for his creative and intellectual contributions, he is a selected author under the prestigious Prime Minister's Yuva Mentorship Scheme. His core academic and research interests lie at the vibrant intersection of technology and the arts, spanning digital humanities, artificial intelligence and literature, media studies, authorship, and computational creativity. A prolific writer and polyglot proficient in English, Malayalam, Tamil, Hindi, Sanskrit, and German, Dr. Ananthakrishnan has authored 9 books, including a notable translation of the Tirukkural. As an expert who frequently conducts lectures and hands-on workshops on leveraging emerging technologies in research, teaching, and knowledge production, he is uniquely equipped to guide us today. His insights will help us explore how digital technologies are transforming the ways we create, preserve, and interpret cultural knowledge, perfectly embodying our workshop's vision, bridging artificial intelligence and humanities research through responsible innovation. We welcome you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you so much for that gracious welcome to scholars who have gathered both offline and online. Uh, we are at crossroads with research and involvement of technology in a never before seen scale. There are questions that there are deeper questions that we ought to address, especially when we are dealing with humanities in particular. Often you might have seen uh, sessions which are addressed, which usually address the general research groups. But what is it there which is elemental in the field of humanities in particular that we should be concerned about? Are there biases coming in? And if these biases are lurking in, quite gently, with a facade of objectivity in humanities, how should we be concerned about it? And what are these larger biases that we'll have to look at it? This question is not merely technological but also philosophical, and it requires in deeper meditation, which we'll also try to pursue in the course of the program. I mean, along with the technological, how should I put it? I mean, like how developers put it, along with the assistance that we are getting. So the question number one is, where should we start first? See, often research starts at a point, most certainly not in libraries, but maybe in your transit, maybe you're taking a bath. How would you quickly verify your first instinct, or what leads to a hypothesis formulation? No, what is a general way in which we do it? I mean, let's make the session as interactive as possible on the go. So, what is it that you do in your regular searches? Now, I mean, an idea hits you while you're traveling, while you're taking a bath. How do you, for researchers, it happens just like that. I mean, if you've been in a PhD coursework, if you have written a paper, you might have felt this. Your research idea might pop, like it may appear out of the blue when you're traveling, even in a bus. How would you verify this? That,
Go to the Google, search what other works which have been already did in the work in the area, what other scopes, mainly searching, like surfing on what has been already done and if there are any scopes.
yes. So searching would be one good thing to do, but how would you search for it? For us, especially in academia, truth is often found by a consensus among academicians, or about how our peer scholars would look at it, would be the question. So, if you want to look at that particular, particular, I'd recommend you to go with. Just ഓക്കെ, ക്യാമറ ക്യാമറ ഒന്ന് ഇത് മാത്രമേ ജസ്റ്റ് സെക്കൻഡ്. ഇവിടെ നോക്കാം. നേരത്തെ കണ്ടാണല്ലോ. ഇല്ല, ജസ്റ്റ് നോക്കട്ടെ. എന്തെങ്കിലും മറ്റേ Thank you. Sorry for that interruption. So let me share the screen as well. So as I said, truth for us comes from consensus among academic communities. So what you see on your screen right now is a page from the app web, the website called as consensus. So what is exactly that which consensus does? So if you have got this question, for example, what I've done right here, let me also show you what I've done. If you go to the homepage of consensus, you can fundamentally ask this question to the corpus of published literature in a particular area. For example, it can be a general question. Most interestingly, it goes, a long way in answering it as a yes or no question. If you have one critical doubt that you want to ask, for example, you can ask it here in this particular area called as Ask the Research that you can see. Once you ask a question, the answer reflects something like this. So my question was very simple. Can improvement in mobility have an impact on gender discrimination? Was the question. As you all know, the biggest or perhaps the smartest tool in women empowerment in India was developed by TVS, the scooty. So that was the entire aspect that I was looking at. Women became more independent in the long course. They could basically run a business on their own. They don't have to depend on uh, you know a family member for their work, etc. So just asking this question, whether it improves or not, the question, the answer came with a predominant yes. Improving mobility can reduce gender discrimination, but only when safety, cost, and social norms are addressed. But the best part is what follows. You can see something called as consensus meter over there. Can you see it here? Marked in green, yellow, and red. It is basically a representation of research papers reflecting answers for these questions. You can see a predominant yes with a 50%, a possibly of a 33%, and a mix of 17%. They'll also tell you where and from where this particular data was sourced from. For example, in a brief literature review that you can see over here, every sentence is coded against not just a paper, but a color coded paper. Why is it color coded? Color coded so that the particular paper goes with a yes or a no. As you can see here, the particular paper authored by Campisi is a mark. It goes with a yes to a question. But let me also tell you something. The answer needn't always be a predominant yes. For us, voices of dissent also matter, because it also interesting aspect. Is there an argument which goes? Are there arguments that go against our contention? Which is also incredibly important. Which will be very helpful as far as humanities is concerned. Look at biases in particular in research papers. See, for us in research and humanities, fundamentally, one critical flaw that often people ascribe to humanities research are these biases that inherently lurk in our research, especially in domains that are really sensitive. Coded, and also now, the precision in which they have, with which they have addressed this is very impressive. The tabulations, even looking at the parameters, you'd see a deeper dive, a better version of this in the next application. If you're just starting your research, if you're just looking at the sole aspect of, evaluating a question that you have to find a one-stop solution to find out whether that particular research paper works for you or not, this would be your best bet. Now, along with it, you have also got filters. Research is time sensitive. So on your right, on your screen, you can see a a filter option here, which has got, and we have got an option to filter out your research papers. I got it. First one is obviously you can see how it can be chronologically, arranged with reference to past 2 years, past 5 years, or past 10 years. Why 10 years? Because any research work, if it is not really relevant, let's say that if you're looking at a phenomenon from 1950s, you ought to have some material from 1950s which will have more fidelity to that particular cultural or social phenomenon. But in general, research papers which are older than 10 years are considered obsolete, because research is more like building a skyscraper. You build on top of what people have already built. So for this particular, they have capped it at 10 years, but no worries, you can basically go for a range of years as well. So these yeses, no's, and maybes will change. I hope you get this. This yeses, no's, and maybes will change like anything when it comes to these changes in years, which is also very interesting to observe. Then you can even select the quality of journals. As you can see, the quartile ratings of journals are also presented. You can go with Q1, Q2, Q3, or Q4. I mean, it's up to your selection. Now, the methodology part, you can go for your selections. Field of study, which is interesting. See, often, I've often seen this when we in humanities, when we go for trauma studies, if the search is too general, you might end up in a medical journal like Lancet, for example. So, field specificity is really important. You have got fields to select from here. And country specificity. Why is country specificity so important? This country that they are referring to is the country in which the study was conducted. So if you want to work on, let's say that you're working on aspects of feminism in general, or fem capitalism, or Marxist feminism as we call it in general, you want to work on it and look at the parameters that helped improve status of women. I mean, same thing that we have done here. It may differ from a developed country. The very concept of empowerment would be different if you go with different races, different ethnicities, or different countries for that matter. So studies conducted in different countries would yield different results. So country specificity is important. As you can see here, you have got a selection of countries from which you can choose from. Starting from USA, it moves on. It's just because of the network. I hope. Is there a problem with the network? All right. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, thank you so much. So what you can see here is yes, no, man, it's okay. I was just asking whether it is possible. So you can see the list of countries as well. So you can choose from the list of countries presented here as well. Now, let's say that if you want a deeper dive, this is just the first stop that we often take, right? So if you want a deeper dive to have a more analytical perspective, if you want to, step this up to a point where you need a very comprehensive literature review, you need a very comprehensive, study of specific perspectives. I can explain this with another demonstration. You would require applications like Elicit. Don't worry about the applications or the list that I'm taking. There are alternatives available as well. I'll be presenting those alternatives as a list towards the end of the session. So for every application that I'm presenting now, there will be at least 10 to 11 applications, which means that you can, do pretty much without going for a premium subscription. So we'll go with the next one. So this is just a sneak peek into what is happening. The next big step would be to get to a point where you know the nuances of the problem that you've taken up. You will have to go with this particular tool called as Elicit, ELICIT. Why is Elicit important? See, knowing, research is not, is not something where you are the person who knows. You are not supposed to know everything. Your strike will have to be. To put it in the, one of the favorite phrases that we use, your research should be a surgical strike. rather than a carpet bombing that you do. It should be a surgical strike. So to be very specific, I know that it's quite an abominable thing to use a war analogy, among humanities scholars. But I mean, this would be the best which I can basically refer to. Let's say that I want to work on a very specific case. Let's say that I want to work on Sri Lankan minorities. All right. So we are focusing on Sri Lankan minorities, and I have another parameter in mind. I want to work on displacement. All right, displacement. Now you've got another variable there. Sri Lankan minorities, Sri Lankan Tamil minorities. Okay, I'm not and language. Then I've got the minority part, country, and I will also add in years. Like post Civil War Sri Lanka, I want to look at what happened to them and their displacement. Okay, specific phenomenon of displacement with respect to Sri Lankan Tamils, minorities, and a temporal condition as well, the time which is post Civil War. If I want to look at it, this would be a nightmare. And at most points of time, one critical crisis that comes in would be, AI hallucinating papers. Again, if you go with a general search with ChatGPT or Gemini, you would end up with papers which are bogus, which only exist in your AI searches. So how would you deal with this? So let's say that I've just confirmed that there is an issue with consensus that Sri Lankan like post Civil War, Sri Lankan minorities have gone through hell, being displaced of their homes, even at times of their country. So if I want to search for that, you can just go and search here, and you can opt for a research report here. Can you see here? You've got multiple options, but one interesting thing would be the research report part. I hope you can see it on your screen. If I go with the research report, and it will take another 20 minutes, almost 20 minutes to generate a report. All right. So this is a free version that I'm using. The two applications which I've right now used, and I've demonstrated right in front of you. Both of them are free. Now, if I just go for the report would look something like this. It's loading. So it will take 20. So that's why I went with a preset report, so that it will be easy. We'll be saving that time. So it's loading. Let's wait for it. Just give it some time. So it'll load. Meanwhile, let me also tell you, see, whenever you use AI in research, transparency is of paramount importance. Like transparency is a key. So I'll tell you how transparent this is. So if you go for research, what it does first is to go for a carpet bombing. First of all, can you see it here? It goes for scouting out papers which work on this area in general. I hope you can see the on your left. Can you see this one here? Papers which around 50 of them have been sourced, as you can see on your screen. Hope this is visible. But at most instances in research, research takes too much time. Often people complain. The simple reason regarding you taking more time in your research is not that the problem with research. This is not my my quote in any way. This is from my guide. In research, often people say that you will have to read too much. In research, the critical error is reading too much. So to sort it down to you'll have to pinpoint on what you actually want to do. So what AI does here is exactly what I want to prove in the entire course of the discourse that we actually would do in this. Why is it ethical? So among these 50 papers, so on a general course, we'd read all those papers, find out that it doesn't matter to us. We'll end up having one paper or two paper max. That's it. But we have wasted all the time. Now look at it. The next part, after listing, they'll go for an abstract. This is in the report. Okay, I'm not doing any extra magic here. This is in the report. Then they'll go for a screening of whether all the elements that we have asked for. Can you see it here? Displacement focus. You can see this here. Displacement focus, geographic relevance, linguistic minority, post Civil War context, publication type, study design. We have specifically asked for these aspects to be included. They'll find out whether those aspects are in there or not. Can you see this? Maybe, yes, etc. They have focused on here. You can then they'll go for a screening of the abstracts. Do you see this here? So they look at the abstract and find out whether there are points in these abstracts which require those papers to be included in our literature review. So they'll also tell you why this paper was included. They'll also see, can you see this here? Why this particular paper was included? On your screen, you'd see this here. Why this particular paper was included. I hope this is visible. And they'll also tell you why this is to be excluded. You would see that in your screen as well. Just a second. Can you see this? So they'll tell you why this is to be included and why this is to be excluded in a very detailed way. Can you see this here? On your right, you see a panel which elaborates on this discussion. What exactly paper dealing with? What exactly is this paper include or not? I hope this is clear. Now, from there, you do it, which is data from this research papers with reference to the particular parameters that we included. Can you see this here? Population on your screen. Just a second. Okay. I think the offline screen is a bit slow. So on your screen, just a second. ഓൺലൈൻ കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ടോ ഓഫ്ലൈൻ കിട്ടുന്നില്ല ഷെയർഡ് ആണ് okay on your screen what you have right now is can you see the screen online can you confirm whether you can see the screen clearly
Yes, sir, we can see the screen.
Yeah, Maria Joseph asked a question regarding whether consensus and LSIT are free. There are premium subscriptions available, but whatever I did right now is from a freer version. See, it always works when you basically use multiple tools. It's just like any other tool, you know, in a general purpose tool. It's not about whether you go for the best tool. It always depends upon who is a worker. So, you know, you will have to know the jugaad of, working with these tools anyway. Can we switch the screen? Excuse me. I'll pin this. No, mine is. I mean, my screen is visible online actually. The problem is with the, so on your screen, what you can see here, is the data extracted from the research papers. So, I mean, don't worry, offline, you will have your screen soon, okay? So, what you can see here is actually data which was sourced from your, just a second, paper, then you've got population and setting, the displacement context, contributing factors, displacement impacts, barriers to return, solutions and interventions, key findings. So you've got all these things listed properly, where you can go with from where this particular research paper was sourced, from which part of the research paper was this particular data source from. So you would see this long list of explanations as well included. So I hope you, just keep online, just give me a thumbs up if you see this clearly, like regarding the parameters that I've discussed. Thank you. So the mode of uh, study is also specific. Can you see this on your right? So for every paper and the data extracted, you would see a detailed explanation of the findings on your right panel. In addition to that, you will also see explanations being properly given for every specific aspect in particular. So once this particular step is over, you will get to the research report. Okay. So what you see over here is a comprehensive research report based on the study that was conducted. See, think about it, from 50 papers that they have listed, only 2 papers directly address our issue. I mean, the one work by Jayasurya and others, and Silva and others. So you've got these 2 papers that actually discuss the the issue in particular, and they've also gone with specific concerns that they've raised, and they have even given you the metrics associated with it. Can you see this here? Which means that you're saving your time in hunting down papers. I've been doing this on a regular scale. For example, we have seen this in most first 2 doctoral reviews of your PhD. Often the doctor, it's pretty easy. This was an advice from my senior researcher. So you don't worry about first and second DC. There is a magic word for it: data collection. Okay, first, anyway, the first half would be covered by your coursework. Then you've got your data collection part. What is data collection? Doing nothing. But think about it. You're saving time on data collection here. Now, paper hunt has never been this easier. And once you collect your data that you require, there are multiple tools that actually do it. SciSpace is one, for example. SciSpace does this brilliantly well. Autogrid is one option. You've got Elicit, which almost works on almost the same UI that you see in SciSpace as well. Consensus would give you a quick glimpse at what can be done. But the thing is, even if you have done this, I'd suggest one more thing. See, certain tools are designed to do some other things, but would be highly assistive when we look at another aspect. I mean, rather than giving you this abstractly, let me show you an application which can do this in an even more interesting way. I hope you've all used Jenny. Jenni, Jenny.ai. Jenny, when I introduced this first, I was very happy that I saw one researcher who attended my workshop, like maybe I think it's 2 years back at Mercy College in Palakkad. So when we did that particular session, we referred to Jenny as one of the best tools around regarding automated research writing. Okay, but in automated research writing, if you look at Jenny, and I also had at that particular point of time when I introduced this tool, when the lecture is available online as well. So I also hinted at one critical problem that they ought to solve, which was hallucinations like anything. Just a second. Oh. Just a second. Okay. If you get to Jenny, sorry about the network part. So once you've hunted down your data, there is a very interesting thing. Have you? I don't know whether you know this YouTube channel called Wings, which looks at a weird but interesting thing, aviation disasters. There are at least 2 to 3 videos where it deals with a flight that takes off but never can, which never lands. Either it crashes or it kind of finds it hard to find the runway. Okay, usually this happens with research. You take off brilliantly well and you never land. So you would, I mean, for online participants and offline participants, if you look at, if you want to find out whether you're a good researcher or not, find out whether you have got a document with that name, new document, file 32 in bracket. You actually start a research paper and never end framing it. So the primary problem comes from the scaffolding part. So this tool is actually meant for writing, but I highly recommend it for 2 purposes. This is what I was referring to earlier. The tool is, developed to serve a particular purpose, but we use it in a different way. So if you go to Jenny, this is basically meant to write your research papers. I mean, we'll come to the plagiarism part, how to deal with it. There are ways to, and how is UGC dealing with it. So we'll get to that. But if you want to basically do a research, if you want to do a scaffolding, I'll tell you how it is done. So if you want to structure it, if you see, what is the hardest part in a research paper? I'd say that the hardest part is abstract. Writing a perfect abstract is very hard. And even more, I mean, if you're a new researcher, you'd find this out, eventually. If you're a researcher, if you know why writing an abstract is hard. There is a tool for that as well. We'll get to that. But the second most hardest, or equally hard, is the way in which you scaffold a research paper, the structuring part. This is where you take off and never land, because you don't know how to scaffold it properly, how to structure it. To solve this problem, you can use this tool. For example, I want to write a research paper on, okay, can anyone give me a prompt? Like, let's give this online participants. Can you give me an area to work on with? A random bogus research paper, preferably not your PhD thesis title. I mean, if you're working on it right now. Can someone give me a title, just a random title to start working with online? Anyone? Okay, criminal psychology. I don't know why that popped up looking at my face. And can you give me, Maria ma'am, can you be very specific, like regarding criminal psychology and impressive? Maria ma'am, criminal psychology. Okay, motivation of crime. The plot thickens. Can someone add? Okay, we'll go for this on the domain of criminal psychology with special reference to, okay, motivation of crime. Can we add one more variable? Okay, can I add like motivation of crime among teenagers? Okay, we'll just add. I hope this is okay. Can we go with this one? This is just a random demonstration. So we've gone with this. Oh, is that okay, Maria ma'am? Okay, perfect. Thank you. So the most important part is this particular part. Okay, standard headings, smart headings, and no headings option. Always go with the smart headings part. I'll tell you why. Once you go with the smart heading part and you start writing, it will kind of scaffold your research paper for you. So this is not why this particular tool was constructed. See, they've even modified that research paper title. I hope you have seen this here. Motivational factors underlying financial criminality among adolescents: a perspective from criminal psychology. Okay, and the best part is you will have it properly defined. Like for the research paper, you will have sections properly defined: conceptual foundations, financial crimes defined, nature of offenses, classification of crime, teenage offender profile, psychological characteristics, motivational determinants, extrinsic motivations, prevention and intervention, psychological interventions, so that you won't miss out a specific vector to be addressed. The best part is it will actually write the research paper for you, but don't make this a habit. Why is this important? If I just ask it to basically create a particular, and if I just hover it over a particular section, it will create a sentence. The best part is you can look at each of the research papers reflected here, which also means that this can be used as a tool for literature review. I hope you understand why. This is not meant for literature review, but this can be used for literature review as well. So a tool is developed for a particular purpose, you can employ it for a different purpose. So if I often cite an example of one of the brightest kids that I've ever taught. So I was a teaching assistant at the university, under my guide. So she sent me to this class of postgraduates where one brilliant girl, she wanted to publish a paper out of her brilliant project that she did for her undergraduate studies. Okay, and the girl, there was one critical problem that she was facing, was in constructing a proper abstract for the paper that she has done. So I suggested her an application called as Testify, which we'll also see in the course of our program. Testify is actually meant as a pre-submission assessment tool, which means that your paper will be assessed as if an editorial panel is assessing it. You're getting this? So this assessment would be done, and it suggests nuance, like tweaks in your papers. Like these are to be changed so that your paper would be proper. I mean, like a proper editorial. And what this girl brilliantly did, ingenious, wicked, I should say. But what she did is that she actually replaced her old abstract with X and O's. Okay, XO. She went with that. I hope you all know the story of the the river fairy and the tree cutter. Well, for those who have not been told the story in their childhood, a river cutter loses his axe in the river, and the river fairy appears and provides him with a golden axe. Well, actually, she received the golden axe because she put it like eggs and zeros. The tool actually told her that this is not the way an abstract is to be written. This is the way in which it is to be written, which means that it was actually providing advice, and she got what she actually wanted. She didn't want. That tool was not even designed to write an abstract. She made it an abstract. Similarly, this can be used as a literature review creator as well, because every paper can be sourced back. You won't see any bogus research papers here. I hope this is. Oh my goodness, the paper is loaded. So think about it. This is a Russian paper. They've translated it. Now, getting back, for every section this can be done. Now, this takes us to another interesting question: what to do with the plagiarism part? Not that I recommend plagiarism in any way. What I'd like to put forward is a state of affairs. What is happening right now? See, major publishers, including Nature, Elsevier, and Wiley Writing Services, they all have different policies. This was my PhD area as well regarding AI and authorship. So they have different policies. For example, if you go with Nature, Nature has got a zero tolerance towards AI plagiarism. If you go with Elsevier, they'll go with I mean, even if you have used AI, you'll have to be clear regarding the usage. You will have to openly acknowledge it, explicitly acknowledge the usage of AI. Wiley Writing Services goes with a very simple statement. I think the best one is from Wiley. They goes by saying that usage of AI is permitted, as a linguistic rule. It's okay, perfect, but don't go for data manipulation. We'll get to the data manipulation part sooner. I mean, not that I want to teach you data manipulation, but being a better criminal makes you a better policeman. We'll discuss that part as well. Now, how is it that these things are flagged? We often take it for granted that this is flagged just because of regular phrases that comes with AI, landscape, tapestry, which you're all familiar with. But there are two more aspects which are often flagged as AI. One is regarding the perplexity parameter. The second one is regarding burstiness. Okay, perplexity and burstiness. What is perplexity and burstiness? See, have you noticed this? Often, burstiness aspect is basically the reference to the number of words used in a particular sentence or number of sentences in a particular paragraph. In an AI generated sentence, often if it's in the series of sentences that are presented, in most probability, I mean, like I'd say that it's mostly probable that these sentences follow a very common pattern of having same number of words, 10 words, 10 words, 10 words. How is this avoided by many? In the prompt they'll ask for a specific thing. Go with high burstiness. Create sentences in such an order that it follows a random order of words ranging from 7:3:4:1 and following a random pattern. Sorry. Sorry for that particular part. Like, there is, technology also has got a mind of its own. Can you mute this? Okay, it's done. Okay. So, often the most interesting part is it. People often go with this prompt saying that go with a random pattern, as if word counts would differ from one sentence to other. Not that you should do this, but this is how people evade things. Second is regarding the perplexity parameter. Perplexity parameter is very simple. How would you find things to be so mechanical? How would you find things very mechanical in an AI writing? You'd see that it follows a very proper order of words, like words which are chosen from a particular domain or a particular style of narration, where it follows the same vocab or a vocab which belongs to the same range. So, for example, the words would be so perfect in those contexts. But when human writing is, if you consider human writing, you would see that this differs. Like words would, it's like the old Greek convention of bringing God in a crane. There will be words coming out like from nowhere. So you would see random words popping up. So you also set this perplexity to high, so that words would come out of nowhere. And this would avoid AI plagiarism again. Okay. This is where Grammarly plays a villain. Have you noticed something? When you edit using Grammarly, the chances of AI being flagged is pretty high, because it works on the consistency parameter. It makes your phrasing so consistent and perfect. I mean, incidentally, a scholar was here. Like I was referring to a scholar from Mercy College as well. So when she was in that session 2 years back, we actually checked AI plagiarism for Shashi Tharoor's essays written in 2003. It was like that particular phase of time when AI plagiarism was heavily discussed upon. So we did a live test and Turnitin for Shashi Tharoor's essays, two of them, which turned out to be plagiarized 100%. Okay, so they show that this Shashi Tharoor essay from 2003 is 100% AI. This is not human. We are pretty sure that it's not human in any way, but being AI is another question. There are two options: either the machine has gone bonkers about the entire game, or second thing is it Shashi Tharoor knows time travel. Two chances. I mean, second being highly improbable, we'll stick on to the first. So this is what happened with that particular part. So why is that very important? See, there is an interesting research study which was conducted like 2 to 3 months back concerning this bias in how native speakers are flagged less and how ESL users are flagged more. Why? When you are a language, when you study another language, you try to speak it perfectly, which means that the dialectical influences, the additional influences. I mean, think about it. Think about a person from Germany talking Malayalam or Tamil. It would be perfect. Language would be precise. It will follow the grammatical rules. It will be as if it's almost mechanical. Why do you understand language being art, why do we call certain people speaking a particular language, any language for that matter, to be artificial? It is so perfect that you feel that it is artificial, right? The uncanny valley of language, as you can call it. So this is why often we are flagged. There are two ways in which you can deal with it: accept the fact, move on, clearly state. I mean, even UGC in its recent cases, the Lucknow case as well as the Brabu case, they've gone with an AI policy. I mean, though it has not been, it is not yet, implemented properly. Open declaration is mandatory. So you'll have to openly declare that you used a tool to basically work with the language part. So you can declare that I've used AI, and that solves the problem. Unacknowledged usage is the only problem that they have marked right now. So one interesting way to deal with this is to openly declare at the very onset of your session that for language purposes I've used this particular tool. Perfect, it goes seamlessly well. Or else go with any of the parameters that I've discussed if unintentional plagiarism pops up. I mean, let me repeat again. If unintentional plagiarism pops up, go with high perplexity or high burstiness. So that is that, and this is exactly what humanizers do. Especially the best in the town right now is undetectable.ai, which is a premium tool in detecting AI plagiarism. It's good for the policeman and the burglar as well, because it detects plagiarism like anything against at least 10 tools, including green GPT, saplings, and even you can even look at the Turnitin aspects as well. It comes with a premium, but if you want to manually do it, this is how you do it. If unintentional plagiarism pops up, then I mean, I often receive this: isn't this bad to be discussed? No, this is to be discussed so that you understand what is happening right around. See, the thing is, this is how machines correlate with. That is why I said that there is a larger philosophical debate included as well. So this is almost like my 6th standard niece whose teacher calls me and complains regarding her usage of AI. So the texts were so perfect. Then eventually, one fine morning, started and things changed. The girl became a quote unquote good girl. According to the teacher, she was happy. The only thing is that the girl changed the prompt. Right, like a 6th standard girl with 2 mistakes in each sentence, one preferably grammatical and one preferably a spelling error. So see, this is how things are. This is a basic logic from what I've discussed so far, making it less perfect. Perfection is your worst enemy, at least in AI plagiarism. So don't be so perfect. So your research paper will be so good that it will be good for nothing. This is the first part. Now, when you start writing, I rather ask you not to use Grammarly. Better replace it with this particularly interesting application called as Trinka. 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 So we have done our background checks. Now we move on to Trinka. Okay. Okay, Trinka is loading. This is Trinka. Trinka. Okay, I'll just log in and show you. Why is Trinka important? Trinka is not just a writing tool, it's also a formatter. It works as a citation checker. It works as, they've show you certain things. I mean, there is this particular area called as reports. Okay. Think about it. It also provides you an AI content detector, citation checker, journal finder. Let me show you one thing. We'll start from the beginning and we'll just move on, grade it one by one. Now let's start with citation formatter. Okay. See, at times we often get this long list of citations which we want to convert to a target citation style. I hope you've seen this. Like mostly ours will be one that follows a style sheet of MLA. I want to convert that to APA, this long list. One thing that often people do is to go by one, either do it manually or go by websites like Citation Machine or any software as you do it. This is more easier. Just paste in all your citations, select your target style, whatever you require, and then submit. Simple. And it would provide you a list something like this. Can you see this here? This is the input. The target style was AMA. They'll also show you what are the changes, which means that you can also like see what changes have been added, and you'll also see the output, which means that the citation part is dealt with. But this is where the catch is. How many of you have received love letters from editors? I mean, very long love letters. I'll tell you why. Your acceptance mails would be pretty much simple. There won't even be a dear. Mr. or Miss or Dr. So and so, your paper has been accepted. The consent form has been. It's almost as if it's a railway station announcement. It will be very brief. Bereft of emotions. It will be basically thrown to your face. We have taken in your paper. You want to publish it or not? Just send us the consent form. That is done, and in a very modest form. But your rejection letters would be love letters, pretty long. Dear Mr. or Miss, your paper was innovative, exquisite in its construct, innovative in thought, and it has got a future, but not the present. It goes with after saying that we'd like to collaborate with you, which also translates we don't want to see you again. And after much deliberations, we have decided that we can't publish this. This is crap. This is what they are trying to convey across. So these long love letters, to avoid those long love letters, one biggest problem is not the format. It's often the quality of the citations that are included. See, for every research, adventure, it's almost an investigation. So what is the primary thing in investigation? Simple. Think about your detective movies. What is it that is, what makes an investigation interesting and perfect? Evidences. For us, citations are evidences. So even if you wrap your evidence from a a crime scene in, I mean, crime again comes in, I don't know why. Uh, so, uh, thank you, Maria, ma'am, for that. Crime is lurked in. Now, if you, even if you cover it in a golden foil, that doesn't work well. Is the evidence valid enough? Would be the question. So to check whether your citations that you included in your research paper is valid enough, they have got something called a citation checker, not citation formatter, citation checker. Let me just show you this one here. Citation checker. See, if you go to citation checker, you can just upload your citations and find out whether they are of a certain quality. For example, if you go with this particular, I can show you how it is done as well. If you've got a citation list, you can just drag and drop that particular list of citations as a document. Once you upload it, the report would look something like this. Can you see this here on your screen? Retracted papers 4, duplicates 4, predatory journal 5, published long ago 36, unverified 3, journal bias 13, good to use 5. 5 out of 46 citations are good to use, which means that your paper is absolute rubbish. But there is a catch. We'll get to that. But what are these parameters in particular? See, retracted citations, I mean, the retracted papers, I mean, which is considered to be, can I show you again 1 second? See, high risk. If there are retracted papers or if there are unverified papers, I'll tell. So these are considered to be high risk, not to be included at all, because retracted papers are non-existent. If a paper is retracted, which means that it doesn't exist. It's as good as something that is never published. The second aspect is unverified part. Unverified in the sense, if the papers don't belong to any standard academic databases, it is considered to be unverified if it is not present. But a problem is there. For example, my research, along with my PhD, I was engaged in another research project, which was from Prime Minister's Fellowship. So I had to access multiple papers. For example, anonymity in authorship was my PhD as well. So I was working on anonymity in authorship during the British Raj, especially in banned literature. So archival data was sourced. Government orders were there. You can't backtrack any of these government reports because they only exist in archives. They have not been digitized. So I have to simply state government order number 178 bar 1921. So it will be there. Perfect. If it doesn't, it will also be reflected in unverified. So there is what I'm trying to convey across is there is also a sense of personal intervention, which is also required here in dealing with it. Medium risk, duplicates or predatory. I'd also consider that to be high risk. Maybe duplicate, you can put that at medium risk, but predatory journals are to be avoided. They also find out and flag whether any of these articles that we have, journal articles that we have presented, if they belong to predatory journals category. Then you've got the low risk category. I'll tell you why this is a low risk category. For us, for humanities, this is high risk. I'll tell you why. Is journal risk a big problem? What is journal risk? Journal bias a big risk. If more than 10% of your total citations that you have included are from a particular journal, it is considered to be a critical bias. Why is it a critical bias? It will mean much when you think about, put it in a context. For example, the ongoing Iran-Israel, or the Iran-US skirmish that you see in the Middle East right now. Let's say that you're writing a paper on it regarding grave human rights violations. It's your choice. Let's think that we both, like here there is a gentleman in our offline class, what's his name? Said, right? Sayan. So Sayan and myself, we both are writing a research paper. So we both are writing research papers on the particular human rights violation. Let's say that his work predominantly focuses on papers from Iran, and mine predominantly focus on papers from USA. All right, same situation, objective, properly cited, Scopus Index journals. Let's say that I've got more than 10 papers on a specific area. Well, I've reduced my papers from Iran. So we'll have to include it, but the amount has been reduced. Then I'll be claiming that most of the studies basically claim that, will my paper be biased or will his paper be biased? It will be, because of the predominant usage of articles from a particular journal published from this one particular country. See, this was actually developed to deal with another crisis. Academia is a dirty business, mostly. Whether we accept it or not. You scratch my back, I scratch yours as a key. I'll cite you, you'll cite me, and we are one big happy family. Is basically, this is a motto to be written at the door of every department. I cite you, you cite me, we are one big happy family. To avoid this, to go with unfair, to resist the unfair advantages provided to multiple, how should I put it, to a particular journal or a particular author, they have included this category called journal bias. But for humanities, this is what I said. Though it is very in very general, it'll be a very minor bias for us. If this bias lurks in, it to dismantle the very foundational structure of objective research in humanities, because we'll tweak with people's emotions, the way in with the quality of life. So for us, we are. I shouldn't be so arrogant in saying this, but I'd say that humanities scholars, we are watchdogs of our civilization. We are always on, people often ask us, like, what do you do? Like, all of us who have gathered here today, we are all humanities scholars. So often people say that, what do you guys actually do? To put it very clearly, we are watchdogs of our civilization. We make sure that less blood is shed, less tears are shed. We'll confirm it. Even with the advent of AI, we are trying to find out ethical ways of using it. Is it going to dismantle our civilization? Blah blah blah. We have been discussing it too much. But let me be very clear here. These unfair practices, this particular tool can act as a check on these unfair practices. The first part, okay, journal bias. For the second part is controversial. Published long ago, 36 papers. Let's say that I'm working on a paper on the evolution of Birmingham Center for Cultural Studies, BCCS. So I'm working on it in Birmingham School. I want to source papers on it and publications on it. The best thing I'd get is papers from 50s or 60s, for that matter, to basically source it to its origins and papers which are published in proximity to the formation of the school. Will that be a problem? No. But let's think about feminism. All right. We have often seen streams of feminism coming in, the way in which women have progressed. With a double inverted comma, in quotes, women have progressed so much, or often we claim so that women are all happy. So things have changed in the recent years. The very perspective regarding freedom has changed. What freedom is and to whom freedom belongs to. So looking at feminism, you're trying to work a paper in 2026. Will it be ideal to look at a paper from 1960 and understand the state of women now? You will have to be temporally aligned. Time is of primary importance. So you'll have to focus on that aspect as well. So time can be a major aspect there. It depends upon your topic. That is a key. The last one is no risk, good to use. Very hard to find. the no risk papers are very, very hard to find. I mean, going by this, but it will affect your research, quality. For example, see, your research paper will only have to deal with two questions. One is whether have you validated your hypothesis in your particular research paper, or to better word would be thesis statement. Do you have a thesis statement that you've proven in your research paper? One. The second part is that have you done an analysis of evidences properly? Have you incorporated it? Often what we do in our research is that we often have a thesis statement, then we have got a few papers. We present the thesis statement, then the papers, then end of the story, conclusion. We skip the connection, we skip the quality, we often skip the analysis part. So this will end up nowhere. So often every third research paper is a literature review. I mean, I hope you understand it. So we don't try to prove anything. We play in, we play it in the safe, Elysiums, in a very, jovial manner. It passes on. But think about it. It basically works on the aspects of quality of citations, which you've used to. It's basically like you're trying to find whether your keys are good enough to unlock keys. I mean, like locks. So this is citation checkup. Then the most impressive part in this one is perhaps journal finder. It's more like m4mary.com for your research paper. I don't know whether that is a good analogy, but kind of popped up right away. Finding your perfect journal. So if you have your abstract of your research paper, you want to find out which paper can take it in. See, this is where we, bad matches end in unhappy marriages and unpublished papers. So you will have to find your perfect journal. Not that it's more like a marriage. When you're trying to publish, don't look for a hi-fi groom or a hi-fi bride. Look for the bride or groom who goes by your standards or the way in which you think. Same thing squarely applies for research journals. What it does is that they'll check for. No, I'm not going to go for that analogy again. So what it does is that if you paste in your abstract and search for journals, they'll give you a list of journals which can potentially take in your research papers, just like this, where you've also got the option of target journal, what is a particular country, or what is a journal country that you want to refer to, which means that if you want to select journals from US, you have an option for Switzerland. Impact factor again. So basically, frequency of citations is what is being referred. H index. Then you've got site score. Want to go for open access, you can go for it. You can even hide predatory journals, which is very important. I hope you can see it on the top. You've got this matrix here. I hope this is visible on your screen. Online too, I hope it's visible. Thank you. Yeah. Now, here, once you see, the logic is very simple. If you upload an abstract, they look for similar abstracts published in journals. It means that they'll find out whether articles of a similar type was published earlier in that particular journal. And they rank it according to the number of publications. They'll also show you how many papers of that particular nature was published in this particular journal. A 10-year publication trend will be shown. Not just that, you'll also see similar articles published in a list. They'll provide you a list as well. Okay, I mean, it takes some time. So you will have a rank list of 5 top journals that can take in your paper with all these parameters included. Which will be the perfect way in which we can, what do we usually do? We hunt for journals we send randomly to all these especially in humanities, it is very important that we go with this. Why? Editorial policies are governed by philosophical, political, social, at times ethnic or racial concerns as well. So often your paper's political ideology may not align up with what the editorial thinks. Think about sending an article regarding human rights violations in Gaza to a journal published from Israel, sponsored by a group of scholars from a Jewish fraternity, or vice versa, or talk about India's borderline disputes from a publication from Islamabad. Come on, this is where things are getting messier. So you'll have to look at, or else you'll have to spend some extra time going to the journal, finding out who are the editors, getting to their profiles, knowing them, finding out whether that journal has published articles of similar kind, rather than wading through that mess. This is a one-stop solution to do it all. All right. I hope this makes sense as well. Now, in Trinka, these are the options that we have discussed, but there are other things as well. So you've got a proper editor here. For example, if you go to Trinka's grammar editor, you will have a similar option here. Grammar, paraphraser, consistency, and obviously the reports that you have seen right away. You have also got an inbuilt plagiarism checker for this. You have got a journal finder, citation checker, which we have discussed. Now, there is one more thing in writing that we'll have to deal with. If you're an aspiring researcher, if you're a researcher who finished the research, just like how I am, just finished my research, but even now a problem affects me. I would call it Friday blues. See, have you ever faced this in your research journey? That one fine Friday or Saturday or someday in the day, in the week, you wake up and find that you can't write. You can't write. Like, you've got everything with you, every piece of literature that you've got, but that block is there. Just like how a writer's block is, you will get the researcher's block somewhere. I hope you've experienced this at some point of your research journey or academic journey in general. Often we skip that particular day, we'd go for a movie. We expect things to be all right in another 3 hours, 3 days pass, 3 weeks, months, a summer, winter, spring. It passes away. From a junior research fellow, you become a senior research fellow. A senior research fellow is basically UGC telling you get the hell out. Then you'd be a super senior research fellow. Then you'd eventually end up studying with your son. But one way to avoid it is to get to that logical connection in your research paper. So it's not about the lack of ideas, your brilliance. It's just that simple push. For that, you can use this particularly interesting application called Writer, which is not developed for researchers in particular, but is incredibly helpful. RYTR. Writer. If you get to Writer, the best part is it would make sense to us, because what is it that we ought to speak next is a critical part. So if you get to Writer, what Writer does is that please give me a second. It's loading. Okay, once you've got a new document, we'll start a new document. Let me just open this up. At times, internet, resembles an university file. It barely moves. Uh, can you see the screen here? So I've got a paragraph on post-humanism on your screen. Uh, so I hope this is visible. Is it stuck or something? Okay, just a second. Uh, okay, so in your file right now, you've got a paragraph of content that you see over here. I hope this is visible, and it is limited to 103 words. Okay, 756 characters. Now look at it, following the same language, following the same pattern, and to a selection of tone that you want to basically take: enthusiastic, convincing, critical, earnest. You can see it on your left. This is going to continue the writing part. Wait for it. I mean, I hope you understand why this is important. That gentle push that you'd require to pursue the next logical idea is presented. Can you see this here on your screen? I hope this is visible. From around 100 words, you've got 214 words. Doesn't mean that you will have to pursue this per se, but the best part is that you can understand, like, or to have you will have an idea about what follows next, or what is it next area that you should go to. It will predict for you the content. Now, talking about this particular part, I'd also like to introduce you to another aspect which is also important. So this is that general push I was referring to, but in writing there is another aspect that often we overlook: reading. Often when we talk about research writing, etc., we skip this part of reading research papers. How many of you uh, have you noticed, why do the something that a researcher ought not say, like, uh, research, after reading research papers, have you at any point of your research have you felt that, come on, this is too convoluted, too too confusing, that I can't make a sense out of these research papers? Why is this important? Let me tell you. See, at any point in history, technological advancements have brought forth one more thing. Do you know what it is? Democratization of educational processes. I mean, like the domain of education. We are here studying liberal arts in our classrooms, in our conference. This is just because of industrial revolution. Where the blue collar workers could send their children to colleges, rather than, I mean, other than canon law and barrister degrees that were there. We received a certain amount of impetus as far as our field is concerned. We eventually evolved to develop fields like literature, arts, in general. Similarly, when AI came in, accessibility became more interesting. I'll tell you why. Reading research papers or understanding it in all its complexities, and to wade through the complexities to get to the core of the research paper, to know an idea, to have an idea, for researchers who are just beginning their journey, it's really important. This is where an application comes in, from the writing part to the reading part. I know that the hardest part in a day is the hour before the lunch. I mean, obviously after lunch you can sleep, but before lunch it is pretty hard. But let me wind it up like one more tool. Let's say that I have got one study here. Can you see this here? Uh, uh, whose mic is okay? Thank you. So if you go to explain paper, if you want to understand or analyze a sentence or a paragraph, just select a particular paragraph or sentence, I mean, area that you would love to. I'm just going with the phrase here. Once you've selected the phrase, you would see this. Okay, you would see this on your right. Can you see this here? You can have the explanation done in multiple ways from a 5-year-old middle schooler. Can you see it here? The slider. Middle schooler, high schooler, undergrad, graduate, and expert. Which means that you can customize your comprehension, the grade of your comprehension, which should mean, really much for a researcher who's just starting his or her research journey. If you're just, picking up the pace, if you want to basically go through the research papers, have a comprehensive understanding, you can go for an explanation, and it will basically give you an explanation of what is there with this particular, or how should you basically comprehend this. I've just put that at the undergraduate level. You can see the explanation coming in, which means it. See, I've been a student of literature. Let me tell you something very honestly. Often people often people deal with this crisis. I'm not talking about English literature. So see, your competence in language has got nothing to do with your research capabilities. If you're a bad researcher, you would still present a bad paper in good English. I hope you understand this. So language competency is not a marker of your excellence in a field. So for our students who are just starting up, this is a brilliant opportunity. People often say that this is the doomsday of research. Think about this particular instance. Earlier, before we we part for the lunch, earlier research was the prerogative of a select few, an elite. I'd call AI the Prometheus of 21st century. It is bring down the light of research up from the heavens. A student from an elite institution in the country accesses the same material that a student from a rural college accesses. You can do fact checks like a scientist. Next time your uncle sends you a message that an asteroid is going to hit Earth around 12 a.m. Usually you get the messages, right? Your uncle can check the same research data. Go to consensus. Go and check for it. Research is being democratized. Are you getting this? I hope you understand the importance of it. So, rather than looking at, we are academicians, we are cynics. But beyond that cynical, perspective that we are taking, we often go by. Often one either to veil our ignorance in fields, or to basically, if you'll have to, often there is a sense that if you'll have to be a very good academic, you'll have to have the Victorian, drab, dull, dingy face, stiff. You'll have to isolate everyone. Next moment, everyone would run from you as if they're running away from a skunk. So rather than avoiding it, academics is more loving, dearly. Right now, it is. Think about reading this research paper. It should have been pretty hard. Now we have got ways of finding your, ways around with the research papers. Now, I know that somebody is using tactic paraphrasing the entire meeting. So when you come in the afternoon session, online participants and offline participants alike, because the session is in English, you can either go with Otter or any transcribing tools. Have your good sleep. Sleep is very integral for your research. Have your good sleep, but on your Google Meet, and keep it recorded so that you can look back at the session whenever you get your time. Time is of optimum importance. So being here in the session, listening it in a half slumber won't help. So better ask your voice to record when you sleep. Professionally, I'm a singer, so I think I can lull you back to sleep in the afternoon session. It will be good if we can sleep really well. So the only condition is that I shouldn't sleep, but obviously you can on your tools and be on your work. There is an online participant who has actually switched on to tactics. So we will continue in our afternoon session. So we'll be in our afternoon session. We'll be focusing on pre-submission assessments. We'll have allied research tools in brainstorming and mind mapping. We'll have our tools in plagiarism parameters. We'll also have our tools in research and development trend analysis. Like, how would you identify a particular area if you want to specialize in a specific field in your research and find out whether it will perform really well in the future, to finding out the best experts in the field, etc. So we'll look at it all in the afternoon session. Hopefully, the session, I mean, I know that the session was pretty long, but hopefully it somehow helped you. So thank you so much for your patience and wasting 2 episodes of your favorite web series. Thank you so much, everyone.
वीडियोस बनाने हैं, फिल्मोरा है ना।